Greetings, greetings, everyone. Let me say peace, love, light to you all. May all be well with you, your loved ones. Um, may all that you put your mind to accomplish, that you are accomplishing it, and that the Most High give you strength each and every single day to see each and every single day through, and to be great individuals, persons as you were born to be. With that being said, I say peace, love, light to you all, and welcome. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Oh, man. It's been an early start to the day so far, but it's a good one. It's a good one. Been up from 5:30, 5, 5:30, 5:30, helping a friend with some paperwork. But yeah, what I want to get into is um these distractions, right? And a lot of people out there have stuff that they're saying and you know about the situation with the pastor that was in Jamaica that is called Kevin Smith, the one that died in the car accident, right? Um and everyone has their narrative of the story, but are people paying attention to these folks who are coming out talking? Or are people paying attention to their character? Are people really paying attention to what these people are actually saying, right? And the big issue is what I realized and I noticed that when this orchestrated pandemic started, somewhere in the midst of it, they were trying to turn it into a pedophile, um, homosexual movement where they try to show protests going on, especially like what's going on with Dave Chappelle, for instance. He speaks his mind on men acting like women, right? And he's very vocal about it in his comedy. And here goes a massive protest against him for his freedom of speech and speaking his mind, right? Another orchestrated event to keep you off of the fact that the information and the whistleblowers are coming out about all these politicians, all these scientists and doctors that lied to you about this orchestrated pandemic for profit, right? That was orchestrated by big tech and the pharmaceutical industry. Okay. Before that, there was another issue, and there was another protest of the gay community coming out. Now in Jamaica, they're saying that this pastor was um, into the whole pedophilia thing. He was doing the human sacrifice. He ran a major cult that people were giving him millions of dollars, and he has a yacht and all of this and all of that. No one forced those people to put that money in his pocket. Oh, he was traveling to Africa. He went to Europe. That's what a master mason does. A master mason is a traveling man. He's supposed to travel, period. He's in the church. The church is all over the world. You can't be in that kind of society within the church and you're not traveling all over the world. That is their job. Look at TD Jakes. TD Jakes goes to Rome all the time and spend time at the Vatican with the goddamn Pope. Look at the what's the biggest bishop that they got in Africa? They be rubbing elbows with the Pope. That is what they do. They're supposed to travel. They're traveling men. Once they hit their master mason status, they're travelers. Pay attention to the folks that's coming out talking. Now with Kevin Smith, yeah, I'm not saying that he is. I'm not saying that he isn't. I'm not saying that he didn't commit those acts. I'm not saying that he did not commit those acts. Let me just get that clear out the way right now. I do not know the man. Okay? And when I first heard about him, it was from uh Richard Curry's Minister of Foreign Affairs and his Attorney General, right? Now, I played the audios the other day of what this man was speaking about. This man was telling you about the lockdowns that were coming. This man told you what they plan to do with you. This man was telling you about the facilities that they're building worldwide and on the island where you're at up in Mobay, that they plan to use these facilities to house people because they planning on starving out the people to death, which is what your prime minister has already started doing. It's right in front of your face. This man already started had warned you about the travel restrictions, that you're going to start needing a vaccine passport before you could travel, and all these things. This man, which is very high up in the ministry in Jamaica, that knows all the dirt on all these politicians, whether you were Laborite, whether you were PMP. This man that was a liability because he started talking the things that these people, these devils, were planning on doing. Okay. And I'm watching this. I don't know the name of the guy. He's out this it's a Jamaican dude, but he has a platform. I don't know his name, but he seems to be gay to me. It doesn't matter, but he yeah, anyway. So he has this platform. He brings on a sister on the platform. The sister says that she's known Kevin Smith since they were 14 years old. 14 years old, and act like she didn't know if he was doing these things. Like she didn't know that he was doing none of these things, right? But pay attention, because she act like she didn't know much about him. But what she was really doing, she was dry snitching and putting out his child's information out there in the public. To me, that was a threat to his family. The guy asked her, how long you've known Kevin Smith? She said 14 years. And then she started going into that she really didn't know that he was doing all of these things, and going into his history and stuff. You known him for 14 years. You and him were best friends. If he was doing those things and he's a part of the occult, and you've known him for 14 years, you were part of the occult, and you knew he was doing those things. Because this is how it works. You understand? So then the guy asks if he has any children. She says, "Oh, he has one child that no one knows of." That means the man kept his private life of his child private for his child's safety. No one knew if this man had a boy, if he had a girl. And she goes on to let it be known that it's a girl. To me, that was a sneaky threat to the family, to his daughter. Why would you put that information out there knowing that the world has this man painted as some human trafficker, pedophile, human sacrificer, a cult leader, and people want supposed justice, but no one has come out to say he's done this directly to them. But because of the light of the media, people will start holding his family like they are this, his children are that. And you went out there and you put that information out there. How good of a friend were you? You weren't a good friend. His daughter, his child, has nothing to do with what is going on. Obviously, if it's about this man alone, you don't know if she has any involvement. No one even knows the age of this little girl. This little girl could be 2 years old. Nobody knows. Then you have another woman that they call Sister something or Empress, whatever. I don't even care. She goes on and start bashing this man. Yeah. And he's a human sacrifice and so on, so on, a cultist and all of this and all of that. but yet still she's wearing the graduation gown. And anyone that knows the occult society, the Masonic society, everyone knows what the graduation gown means, down to even the hat that they wear. Hmm? The hat that represents the stonemason's mortar, and the cup part of the hat that makes the hat a whole that represents the skull and bones. Come on now, don't play with me. You have to know these people and how to identify these people. There's the male fraternal order, there's a female soror order, two wings on the same bird. And they will not hesitate to come out and start a smear campaign against one of their own because they decided it was time to sacrifice that one for the greater good of their cause. I'm not saying that these people are in it, but I'm just saying telltale signs and all will reveal itself. But they wear their regalia, they wear their garbs. All right. Like, who's these people playing with? Then she goes on to say, Andrew Holness, I love you. And she loves Andrew Holness, and in her eyes, Andrew Holness could do no wrong. That's someone that cannot tell me nothing. You know why? She has a conflict of interest. She's biased. So if you are saying that the prime minister right now that is starving out the people of Jamaica, yeah, that is putting them on lockdown so that his multi-billionaire, millionaire, and trillionaire business partners can acquire more of the island, buy more of the bauxites of the mining rights and all these things on the island, and push out people who they're calling poor people into what his wife is building, which is a project. If anyone knows what the project is that's here in the States, it's not a place that you want to live. And what they're doing, because back home, let's talk about it. Back home, you have labor parties, right? You have the two major labor parties are called PNP. One is called Labor right? Those two parties are always clashing and fighting against each other. When election time come around, they massacre each other. You understand? So now he's building. His wife is building the projects that they're trying to say are condos to move these people whose home are being taken away from them. Their land is being taken away. Their houses are being taken away to put them into this building in a PMP community, a whole bunch of labor rights in a PMP community. That's an insurrection. You're creating an environment for warfare to break out. That whole thing is going to crumble and fall. You understand? They're creating a situation ahead of time. These people are so smart. Now this man shuts down the entire island, no movement day, and then tells you, oh, at this time, between this time, the busiest hours of the day, okay, this is when now you could have movement. And now you have these hundreds of thousands, millions of people packed in to each other, where they could say now, oh, the coronavirus is running rampant now. The COVID rates are skyrocketed because all these people pile on top of each other. Can't go nowhere because the stores have limited supply. And you have millions of people now on the road jam packed trying to get their supplies and their things in order for the next shutdown. Hmm? You have this man that's given the okay for the Germans to come and give you a vaccine. This very same Germans that not too long ago had internment camps and that was castrating what they call black people, cutting the balls off the males and going into the womb of the woman and cutting it out to take their villages, their towns, so that they won't procreate. Then using biogenetics warfare on them, injecting them with all sorts of biochemicals, gene altering effects. And these are the same German companies and subsidiaries that he's now telling them to bring their vaccine in on the land. A vaccine that causes death, heart murmurs, blood clots, birth defects, vaccine that he can't even tell you the long-term or short-term side effect. Jamaica don't have a VAR system, so they can't tell you how many people actually died of COVID and how many people didn't. So they go and they're so corrupt because they'll make up a number to push their agenda because he took money from Bill Gates, which they said, oh, was to build, it was to put into the library. How? What library when the whole island is on the shutdown? So how is 20 something million dollars going into a library that the students and the people can't even go to because the island is under constant shutdown for over a year now? Then you come and you find out that he has offshore accounts that's in his son's name. He's money laundering. All the major businesses is going under his wife. His wife is in parliament with him. What? You ever seen a president here? He's president and his wife is the head of the Senate? No, you will never see that. That is corruption at its finest. And your thing is he could do no wrong in your eyes? Well, the organs of the young children them that's leaving the island, the young children them themselves that's being kidnapped off the island, they have to go through the ports. So who controls the ports? Who controls the ships from coming in and out of the ports? Whose job it is to make sure that those things are properly supervised and searched? Whose job is it? Was it Kevin Smith or is it Angie Holness and the Governor General Patrick Allen? Hmm? Now, before Kevin Smith was even born, child sacrifices, blood sacrifices of animals, of people, sex trafficking was going on the island before he was even born. Going through the Muslim mosque that's down there, going through the synagogue that they have down there, and the synagogue that they have down there is the head lodge of the entire freaking island. If you don't know the dimensions of how a lodge is built, how it's structured, down to even the windows of how the windows is structured in a lodge, why they have certain position of the table set or in a lodge, why they have a podium set, where the podium is set in a lodge, then you won't know what you're looking at. See, a person could come and talk all vulgar and ignorant and sound like they're passionate, but then tell you that the next villain could never do no wrong in their eyes, then none of your words mean shit to me. You're biased, and you made obvious that you're biased. So now the thing is, what do you have to gain from this? Oh, and mind you, she was wearing her green Labor Party colors also, right? People like those are corrupt. People like those will lead you astray. People like those are stuck on a one-track mind. And it's nothing you could say or do to make them think otherwise because their mind is already corrupt. This is why even if I played that voting game shit, I don't vote. I don't vote for one. I'm not a citizen of the corporation. I am an Arawak. And the voting thing is not for us. It's not for us to get involved with. That is the British system for the British corporation that they call Jamaica. Has nothing to do with the island. That's why these politicians, Labor Right or PNP, Democrat or Republican, fuck you over every single time. Because what they're doing has nothing to do with the land that you're on. But because you don't know none of this stuff, they take advantage of you and use your own brothers and sisters, sons and daughters, fathers, mothers that's in the military to come back and shut you down. This is the occult. These things been going on before Kevin Smith. So now they're saying, oh, and he traveled to Africa and all these places, and he came back with the African thing, and then she starts speaking like an African while she's dissing Africa. Start speaking like an African. And then you see that she has the Ankh and stuff on her stuff. So do you know what the Ankh means? A lot of these Kemetic Shriners, they wear the Ankh. Okay? A lot of them that dab into that whole Kemetic way of life. So a lot of some of them can say, well, they're high profile Christian, they're high profile Muslim, they're high profile Hebrew. Yeah, they're a maroon. But you see them wearing that unk, and they got back ties back to that occultic society. They are participating in the Kemetic Shriners thing. A good portion of them. That's a part of also the Masonic Society. We're not going to sit here and separate the occult from Masonry, right? Know the world that you live in. Know how to identify these people. You see them with that black wedding band, that gold wedding band. Different levels, different degrees, different missions in the society. Those are occult. They don't look at you as the same as them, but they will play the psychological game like they're in the mix with you. They will throw their own under the bus when that name is called, when the meeting has been held and the name is called, saying, yes, you know what? We need a major distraction. Who is talking too much? Boom, Kevin Smith. Oh, he's talking too much. Okay, it's time to get rid of him. Let's stage this accident. Here comes this oncoming van. Boom, it hits the car head on. The car spins out of control and he dies in the accident. Now, it is said that he was in a motorcade. Do you know what a motorcade is? Do you know anyone knows how a motorcade operates? A motorcade. You have your leading vehicle, and then you have the vehicle heading up the rear. And somewhere in the middle is supposed to be the asset. The asset is supposed to be somewhere in the middle being transported, depending on how many car motorcade it is. If it's a 4 or 5 car motorcade, then he'll be most likely in the third or the second car. Okay, he won't be in the first car in the very fucking front, so that some truck or bus could come, van could come head on and run into his car directly and hit him and spin over. Here, I heard no one speaking of the driver of that van, of the vehicle that hit his car. That man was already dead before that accident happened. Well, not that it's not an accident. Before that orchestrated event happened, he was already dead. They could not allow him to go to the destination where he was going. That would have been cameras exposure. Why did no camera pick up when they was transporting, when they first took him and put him in the car and was driving on the road? Where was the news? A big story like that, and no news people is following that motorcade? No one saw when they took him out the precinct, put him in the car, and drove off with him? Hmm? A big story like that. That they're trying to use to block out the genocide that Andrew Holness and Patrick Allen is allowing to go on. Hmm? That the fact that if you're paying attention, this is what I say, pay attention to what happens here on the mainland with what you call the U.S. Their congressmen and their senators are drilling the shit out of Anthony Fauci and his staff because they got caught lying in so many things. Now they're gearing up to try them for perjury. He says the NIH never funded gain of function research. Do you people on the island know what gain of function research is? Go research it. Go look it up. Do you know what that has to do with COVID? Hmm? And like I've been saying from day one, the coronavirus is just the common cold, the flu, what all rotavirus is what they call coronavirus, cancer, these things. So when you are going to go get tested for certain things and they say, oh, you have COVID, if you had the common cold, that's what it is. It's the common cold that you had at the time. Now, what made your symptoms even get worse? Because you got wrong treatment for something that you did not have. Now they're saying it's a natural bat virus. Do you know what the term natural means? Natural. It is, say it is I'm in my house. The heat is blasting in my house. I start sweating. I'll go outside in a t-shirt in a 40-degree weather. Yeah? I come back inside, I got the sniffles, I'm sneezing and I'm coughing. That is a natural cold. So when they're saying a natural bat coronavirus, corona, the oldest meaning of corona literally means the common cold. So now gain of function research is when they weaponize that cold. They boost it to another level to be an extreme cold where it's tricking your body to make your body also feels like it's being attacked by some type of devious virus when it really is not. That's why they was treating COVID in Jamaica with herbal tea in the hospitals and people were recovering. Now, if you're a person that has AIDS, cancer, or any type of other sickness there is, any type of sickness there is, yeah? And they say, oh, well, this person had underlying ailments, but we attributed the death to COVID. They're saying that whatever sickness it is that you have, that's what killed you. But they just said that COVID did it. This is why they're getting called out. This is why you have over 10,000 lawyers and 20,000 doctors in court right now suing the shit out of these people. This is what they're hiding from you. This is why they're censoring the information. So when you're looking at your prime minister and your governor generals as if they're heroes, they're not heroes. The whole thing is to put you on a digital surveillance mass system where everything is digital. You have to get your face scanned. You got to get your palm scanned for everything that you're doing because Amazon, big tech companies have teamed up with the big pharmaceutical companies, and this is what they're trying to do. And the folks who owns these companies are the same Germans and descendants of the Germans and them same Asian folks that sided with the Germans during the Nazi war. So when they're saying that the war is on carbon, it's you, the dark and the brown skinned man and woman. It's you. They poison your water supply. They poison your food source. They're mining and polluting oil in your water, in your oceans, in your sea. They're coming now and they're acquiring all these lands on your land and pushing you out and telling you that you can't go in this section of the beach no more. You can't go fishing in that part of the beach no more. You can't go here no more. Or this is private over here, so on and so. But they're not from your land. Wake up. And because these people are in the pockets of these folks control the major news source outlets. They control your magazines. They can look and see who are the biggest investors in the biggest Jamaican news stations. Look and see. Prove me wrong. Hmm? You want to talk about a cult? Well, UWI, the University of the Westindies, that's in Jamaica, has the biggest fraternal and sorority chapters down there. They have their own fraternal order. So how many of these politicians and these spiritual activists graduated from down there? Hmm? Like, come on. If you're gonna, I'm not defending this man. I don't know if this man did these things. What I'm saying is, stop letting people put you on a one-track mind. Do not lose focus off the fact of what is actually going on the island right now. When this man is dead and gone, and they're still now they made sure to tell you, oh, he has a string of churches underneath him. So what are you going to do? You gonna go to all the churches that he have and kill everybody in all of his congregations? Now you killed off all those people, right? All those people's dead and gone. They're dead and gone, and these pedophile things are still happening. Hmm? The organ harvesting are still happening. The sex trafficking is still happening. The blood sacrifices are still happening. These things going on before this man. Then you could say, well, who put this man in the position that he was in? And then who put that man in the position that he was in? Hmm? Who put this woman in the position that she's in? And who put that person in the position that they were in to put this person in that position? You see how it goes? These they will come out. They will bash they will bash certain acts in these things because it's a show. It's entertainment. You understand? They will do these things. But you on the outside looking, you don't know what you're looking at because you don't know who these people are really. You're only hearing this person talk like this and talk like that, and you're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. You know that makes sense. And yeah, yeah, yeah. See, I know he had our best interest. I know she had our best interest. But they will turn on their own when the order comes down. Look at Andrew Cuomo, the former governor of New York. How quick the mighty have fallen. And you know why they took him down? Whatever it is that they wanted him to do during this false ass pandemic, whatever it is that they wanted him to do, he did everything they asked except for one thing. And he turned them down. He said no. And they said, all right, now we're going to air all your dirty laundry of all your sexual victims in these things. Now you're paying attention to his sexual victims, but you're not paying attention to the fact that this man hid how many thousands of ventilators in a warehouse away from the New York folks who they claim needed them. That this man passed down type unlawful mandates that was felonies, treason, hmm, that cost how many people their lives, huh? Now, no one is talking about the nursing home that they said that he contaminated and caused over 1,000 people or 100 people to die. Only thing people are talking about is the female victims of a sexcapade. You see what I'm saying? So it's like okay, he did some sex crimes, but he didn't kill nobody. They'll throw their own under the bus, but they'll still control the narrative, so that in a few years later you'll forget about it. The next governor, if he gets locked up, will pardon him. He comes out in a year. He's walking the street and he's back in politics, still rich. No real punishment has actually really happened. This is how the occult works. Hmm? Did you research and look which one of your politicians down there was rubbing elbows with Jeffrey Epstein? Huh? Jeffrey Epstein that had all those pedophile islands. Huh? Who were all the people? Hmm? Bill Gates was the last person to see Jeffrey Epstein before he died. Bill Gates even flew on Jeffrey Epstein's jet with him before he went to prison. Bill Gates is the one that's in the picture with your prime minister Andrew Holness, rubbing elbows. You understand? So when the media is keeping your attention only on Kevin Smith, a man that is said to be dead and gone, he's dead and gone. You're going to be talking about him for the next 4 or 5 years and not paying attention to the lockdowns that's still going on, not paying attention to the fact that the homosexual flag was risen up high above the embassy, the consulate down there. Hmm? And you don't see the Rasta community, the Maroon community, none of them came out and protest that shit. You're not paying attention to these things. Why is that? Because it was an occultist that started Rastafarianism. It was an occultist that started the Moorish Science Temple, who controls what you now call the Maroons, obviously. You understand? So when you're talking about a cult, yeah, You go back to your religious doctrines, and in there, how many sacrifices did actually really happen? Hmm? You go back to your sacrificial lamb, huh? And they said Jesus sacrificed himself for the people. Is that not a ritual? That is a ritual. There was a ceremony. There was there was a ceremony. The ceremony was he had to walk with the cross himself and carry his own cross. That's a Masonic thing. Not going to get too deep into that right now, but that's a part of the occultic world. How they angled the spear when they speared him, that's also Masonic. With the cross being with where the cross is crossed off at, when you have the T, because some crosses usually cross off in the middle, it's crossed off at the very top. There's a reason for that also, because when you tilt that cross at an axis, it comes out to showing you the X and the Y chromosome, and also the number seven, which drops back into the, well, anyway, not going to go too deep into that, but it's all Masonic. That's all occultic. When they pulled him up on the cross, when they used the myrrh and the hyssop on him, when he rose from the dead 3 days later, that's all Masonic. That is all occult. So you must know what you're doing. Stop letting people sit here and dictate to you, tear down one man while bigging up the next man, saying that the next man could do no wrong in your eyes. That means he could grab a group of females, rape them in front of you, and you'd be like, well, I didn't see nothing. He didn't do anything wrong. You understand? When people talk like that, and coming from the islands, yeah, it doesn't matter what island, because the same actions that go on in one goes on in all, yeah. And in the communities, them especially communities that they call poor communities, the people in those communities know who's killing their children. They know these things, but they're too fearful to speak, and they'll walk past this person every day because he has friends that knows that he's doing these things, and they'll take God off the cross and defend that man. Why? Because that man is backed by power. Who's backing that man? What politician is backing that man? What chief or head constable is backing that man? What top constable is in the pockets of that man? Hmm? So if the when the organs are leaving the island, yeah, and they going on these craters, it's the police that check those things. The quickest way to have access to your children is to put on a uniform and a badge down there. No one is going to ask questions most time when you get grabbed up and snatched up. For years, you know how many times police roll up on people and throw them in their trunks and drive off with them, and they don't come back home, and the people stay silent. Where you know how many prisoners from the prisons go missing, and no one checks on them. So you want to tell me all of that is Kevin Smith? All of that is Kevin Smith. All of that. Hmm? Like what's going on now in the age that we are in now? Not in the age, the times now to play this game with these people, because what's coming and what is already here is going to affect every single person, everyone. And what you're going to have to choose is the side of righteousness or the side of wrong. And you're going to have people that's going to stick on the side of wrong for the fiat dollar, nothing more than that, for the money. And then you got to understand that how this world works with the occult, you have to give up something. Either you're going to give up your ass cheeks, whether you're a man or a woman, doesn't matter. You're going to sacrifice a family member. You're going to sacrifice a friend. You're going to molest a child, or you're going to do a blood sacrifice. But you're going to have to give up something. The higher in degrees and levels that you go. And Jamaica is infested with Masons. They're infested with Shriners. Okay? So, understand, man. Stop listening to these people. Do your own research. This man literally came out and was talking so much stuff, and they're trying to distract you from the things that he talked and the information that he gave you so that you could wake up. This man was literally telling you, wake up, people. Wake up. This is what they're planning on doing to you. And then here you go, not even 2 months after, he's a big time occultist and pedophile. Look how many pastors down there became millionaires. Look at the prime ministers that took all your money and ran away. One got a house in Paris, one got a house in Florida, one got a house in Andy Holness don't even live on the fucking island. He lives in California. Portia Simpson lived in Florida, and PJ Patterson is in motherfucking Paris. Money that they got from the Chinese and all these other foreigners. Money that they took from you, the people. Taxes that they raised on your ass. No one forced you to go pay those taxes. You went ahead and did so. When I was speaking to an elder from down there, yeah, you got elders down there, people down there that don't pay land taxes because they're indigenous to the land. And you got people down there that volunteers to pay land taxes because they say that they want to support their prime minister. But you don't have to. Just like how these folks didn't have to say, here, Kevin Smith, here's some money for the congregation. Here, oh, you got this big yacht? Okay, that's fine. No one forced them to do so. They willingly did so. You know, they say ignorance is no excuse of the law. Your ignorance is no excuse to that situation. The man didn't put a gun to your head. Period. Look at what's him call it? What's his name? Not Billy Graham. What's that Caucasian pastor that's here in the States that got the his own channel and all that. God damn it, I forgot his name. But his sons and all his entire families are part of that whole thing. You know how much money they pull in from people? On a weekend, they pull in almost $10 million every weekend. You know what they do with that money? They build satellites in many different countries, satellites that the government taps into. You know what else they do with that money? They only buy back Bibles and give back to the people. So where's the other rest of the money going? Did they put a gun to those people's head and force them to give them all that money? No, they did not. And that's a fact. You got to wake up. You got to wake up. Understand that the world that you're living in. Know what this world is. Know the surroundings, your surroundings. Know the folks who are around you. Know what numbers and symbols actually mean. There's a beginning to everything. How well do you know the origins of society, of certain societies that are around you? How well do you know the organizations of certain organizations that are around you, that you are a part of? Today, it seems like it's the biggest charity thing in the world, but yesterday it was funded mass genocide and military warfare and these things of innocent people, and still has connections to these things. You are literally now in the time of where hunger on a level that you've never seen before is going to come and hit you. And you know, Donald Trump warned y'all about Biden. Donald Trump said, "Oh, you think you've seen a recession now? You think you're in a recession? Wait till you when you get this man in office, you're going to see a recession like you've never seen before in your history." And now schools are telling parents that they have a shortage of food. Yeah. And you have companies now that's out there saying that they're organic food companies, and they're doing charities where the food is so portioned that you realize that these are the things that are to come. Hmm? Less than a pound bag of rice, less than half a pound bag of rice, and these things that they're going to box and start giving you. Hmm? Portioning your food. So it's going to be survival of the fittest. So all of you folks out there that can't grow your own food, you don't know how to farm, you don't know what herbs you use to treat certain type of illnesses and ailments. Yeah, you're going to be in for a bumpy ride. You're going to be the ones that's going to turn to your neighbor that has this little food garden in the back, and even though he tried to share with you what he can share, you're going to be the one that's going to overrun him, kill him, and take his shit. And then when you take it and you finish the first crop, you don't know what to do because you can't grow the second crop because you're not a farmer, you're not a grower. Your only knowledge was into going to dance halls, parties, jumping from trees and shit. Hmm? And you're focused on Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith told y'all what's coming. That's what he did, and they got rid of him. He was assassinated. And the dead cannot defend themselves, and now they're dragging his name through the mud on the news, in the media. Dead man tell no tales. Wake up. The script always stays the same. They've never changed their script. It's what they do here in the mainland, it's what they do in Europe, it's what they do in Africa. Hmm? It's all over the world because this fraternal order is an international thing. This occult world society is an international thing. Okay? Know what organizations are in these people pockets. You see a lot of y'all, even with the Rastafarian thing, y'all call it a religion. It's not a religion. It's an organization that was created because they wanted tax exemption. They wanted to be able to smoke their weed and all this stuff without any ramifications. That's why that shit was that's why it's where it's at right now today. And then they teach you they teach you the out of Africa theory. Hmm? That right there is a part of the re-education reset organization process to trick you out of your identity so that all these foreigners that are now coming on your land can claim eminent domain and take your land down to even the African they sell. Okay? They call you West Indian. Well, this entire hemisphere is the Western Hemisphere. You aren't African American. You aren't African. You ain't black. You ain't Afro Caribbean. You are West Indian. American Indian. Now you have people at Mutan that say, "What you saying? The slave story?" No, it's not real, and you know it. He knows it. Okay. Majority of the slaves were taken from the Americas. God damn it! You even had one of the ambassadors of Europe came and apologized to you for taking you from the island and shipping you up into Nova Scotia. and then take you from Nova Scotia and shipping you up into Liberia and Sierra Leone. These people have been telling you, and you're not listening because you still have these folks in your community telling you bullshit, because that's their job as an occult. It's to lead you astray mentally. It's all about energy transfer, siphoning off your energy while stealing your land for your colonizer. I was watching that show with Idris Elba, the cowboy show, yesterday, right? And I forgot the name of it, but it's on Netflix. Watching it yesterday, and they got a dude in there called Cherokee Bill, right? And then going towards the end of it, all the Negroes started speaking the Indian language. And I'm like, again, look, they're telling you the cowboy is the Indian, and the Indian is the cowboy, which is what they call the Negro today, and they call you Afro Caribbean, and they call you African American now today. You're the Indian. They all started speaking the Indian language. And then Rufus, I don't want to talk it out, but Rufus and the guy that came to the other Negro that came hunting Rufus, yeah, are also Indians. And come to find out, they're kin, they're blood, they're brothers. Now that was symbolic for why it is a lot of us was taken over. We started going into tribal war against each other in certain regions. And the colonizer came in and took advantage of that. You understand? It's on Netflix. Regina King is also in it. Regina King is also in there, right? Watch it. And then they got another one called Hell on the Border. I think it's Hell on the Border, right? Where where it's about the black cowboy, the very first black cowboy that became a marshal, right? And in it, they were saying to him, um, oh, he don't come to Creek lands no more. He left Creek lands. And from he left Creek lands, he don't even speak Creek anymore. The Creek Indians. He's a Creek Indian. So they're telling you who you are in your movies. Know why Haiti's under such constant attack and so many children is being stolen from Haiti? Because even the Dominicans will tell you that the Haitians are the Arawaks, the old people of the land. The Haitians still dress and do their celebration of the Arawakan culture to this very day. It's the only part of the island that they can't go and change the complexion of the people and bring in foreigners to say these foreigners are the Arawak Indians, like they did Jamaica, where they show you them tall ass, pot belly ass fucking people. That's not even from the island, never been to the island, some other islands in some other faraway country, land way over on the other side of the world. They took pictures of these people and came and told that these are the people of here. And he fell for it. Right? Wake up, people. You gotta open your eyes, man. It scares some people to look into things this deep, but you must. Otherwise, you're going to be taken advantage of and you're going to lose your freedom. Well, what's left of it. And then what's going to start happening is they're going to come and take your sons and your daughters strictly out of your hands. They already started doing it here. Mothers are giving births to their babies in the hospitals, and they're calling the police and that to stop them from leaving the hospital with their child. Talking about the mother has to be vaccinated before she can leave. That's kidnapping. That's against the law. But you don't know this. You only know that what they're doing is wrong, but you don't know that it's against the law. You don't know what law it's against. You're not unified for when these things are happening, that the entire tribe and nation of us come down to these hospitals. They're not doing it to these fake Jews, because those Jews aren't Jews. They're imposters. But they're not doing it to them. You know why? Because they're unified. They tribed up. They nationed up. And even if they have differences, the differences take a back seat to the greater goal. They made sure that they put their money together and bought into real estate, businesses, politics, things where the power is. So they're controlling the narrative of what you see going on here today. You don't do that. You go and say, in my eyes, he could do no wrong. Seeing this man literally genociding an entire set of people with poison in their system, forcing them by shutting down their way of living, starving them and their children out till they go get a vaccine. And it's not even a vaccine, because they told you in the beginning it's called a genome therapy. And some of the ingredients in it is the CRISPR-Cas9 system. And if you don't know what CRISPR-Cas9 is, the woman that is heading up the research of the CRISPR-Cas9 tells you that she uses that research to make sure that black rats don't no longer have black rat babies, but only white rat babies. Does that sound like something that's healing and curing something? Now, when you go back in history, you realize that you always had a set of pale skinned folks, not saying all of them. There's always been a set that believe that having dark skin and brown skin is a disease and that they need to purge the world of it. Now, this is one of the ingredients in the mRNA technology. mRNA technology is not a vaccine. It is a genome sequencing bio engineered substance. That is not a vaccine. Vaccines are made to boost immune systems. This does not boost your immune system. And this is what this man is forcing you to get. Hmm? In the Pfizer and the Moderna trials, did they show you that when they were testing it in the rats, how many rats became infertile? So if they tested it on 100 rats, over 90 rats out of the 100 became infertile, could no longer have rat babies. Did they tell you that? Did you even look into that? And this is the thing that they're testing on you right now, because it's a human trial. It's an experiment. Then they'll come and say, well, the CDC says, well, the CDC has damn near over 200 companies that is under the CDC. A lot of them are testing facilities, right? So there you go. That's a conflict of interest right there. That will flip the numbers into what the CDC wants. Huh? Then you have a company called Medex. Medex, Medex, if your hospital needs workers, Medex will give you workers. You can hire workers from Medex. Yeah. If you have your private practice and you need a nurse, you need a secretary, you get that nurse or that secretary from Medex. Yeah. Medex also owns medical facilities. So that goes into like hospitals, doctors that have their own private practice. Medex also gives out the equipments in these things. This is Medex. Yeah. Now, Medex has been telling the doctors that are underneath their authority to tell them to decline medical exemptions. No questions asked. This is Medex. Hmm? Now, who are the second and third party companies on the Medex, and what does that have to do with the CDC? Who have been doing their research? CNN is a subsidiary of the CDC. Did y'all know that? CNN is a subsidiary of the CDC. They're a partner and company of the CDC, so they will never talk negative about the CDC or Fauci. Now ask yourself, who are the owners of Digicel in Jamaica? Who are the owners that control the satellite companies, the cable companies? What does that have to do with your mainstream media down there? What does that have to do with your prime minister down there? And the owners of these companies, who are they partners with in other companies? Bill Gates and George Soros just bought up a whole bunch of testing facilities. Now, what are they telling you? Well, some companies are saying, well, if you ain't going to get the shot, we're going to penalize you with your insurance. So we're going to raise your insurance, and you have to pay this monthly with these insurance, and then you have to go get weekly testing at the same testing facilities that Bill Gates owned. That's the same man that was telling you about a pandemic coming 5 years ago. Now, boop, it's here. The same man that tells you that he wants to depopulate the world by 500 million people. He told you this out of his own fucking mouth. And here you are trying to throw like it's only Kevin Smith. You want to throw him under the bus? A dead man that can't come and defend himself. There's some people saying that he's gay. Well, come on. I mean, if he is, he is. If he's not, he's not. You have to stop being ignorant. You're your own downfall. It gets to the point where it's not even these people doing it to you anymore. You're doing it to yourself by listening to half-assed people without you actually looking into things yourself. Some folks out there can't read, can't write, so you don't really comprehend what exactly is happening, and you are the ones that are majorly being taken advantage of. And I feel sorry for you. But for the ones that has a lot of comprehension skills and are still turning a blind eye, it's because you're scared. You are afraid. That's one reason. Two is because you're in on it. You're the gatekeeper to the gate to try to stop people like me from going beyond the gate, stepping into the promised land. Because you can't step into it because you're bound by an oath that you took in the occultic world. So you could never step beyond that gate. But your job is to try to keep me from going beyond it. Which you can't. But know the world you live in. Know the society that you live in. Know the peoples that are around you. Who are these organizations? Hmm? Who are these missionaries? Who are these Mormons that's coming in your communities? Who are these people? What are their history? Because the Mormon history is a bloody and a dirty history when it comes to our people. They've genocide hundreds of thousands of our people and stole millions of acres of land. And they have majority of your historical records locked into a fucking mountain. They have the records of the people on the mainland. They have the records of the people on the islands. And they'll tell you that, hey, got to know your blood type and all these things before you can get access to this. And before you can get access to certain records, you have to join the Mormon church, which is an occultic church, to get your own shit back that your prime ministers and your governor general sold off to these people. They have your ancestral bones. They have the ancestral gold coins, the gold crowns. They have your birth records. They have all these things. Why? Why the fuck do they have it and you don't? Hmm? Bureau of Indian Affairs too also have a place that they built in the mountains with all the records. For how many years they've had this stuff, altering these records. And these are the people that you still come out every day that you trust. What? These are the people that's telling you that you're from Africa, but they have your records in a mountain and you believe in them. Hmm? Yeah, they're in the mountains of Haiti because they're trying to they want more access to the iridium, to the gold supply that's in Haiti, the minerals, the oil. So the first point of attack is gonna be, you're gonna see these little Mormons, these missionaries, and then you see some of these Caucasian folks that you see in the Rasta camps and the Maroon camps in them. They are literally agents that work for the big corporation that goes down there. And these people know that they're agents. They're agents that work for the federal government in these things. That's their job, to come down there, know the layout of the land, know the customs of the people, what is changing, are the people waking up. They're the ones that go back and give back the report. Well, well, Afi have his little Rasta campaign. The rest of them on Afi camp is now saying that they don't think they're Rastas from Africa anymore, that they might be the Rastas them from the Mayan and the Inca and the Aztec Empire. They literally write these reports and they go back to the UN and these different places and they hand in these reports. And now the think tanks of these agencies like, oh, they're waking up. Oh, okay, what could we do? We got to get one of our guys in office. Boom, they get one of their guys to be prime minister. You think your vote brought that person in to be prime minister or president? No, hell no. You got to get one of their guys into your halls of records, which Siaga at one time was the minister of records. You know how many records was destroyed, tampered with, and changed? Hmm? I don't even know how he even got that position to even be prime minister. He's not even from the island. He was born in Boston. His family's from Boston. Well, his family migrated to Boston from a European country. And then what Jamaican people used to say was, "Oh, he was born in a boat over in the sea, so no one knows," or he was born in a plane in the air. That's this the shit that they used to say to give an excuse to why an outsider became prime minister of a place that he wasn't supposed to be prime minister of. The CIA agent Edward Siaga, ignorance. And you know how many men killed for him? Killed their own brothers and sisters, their own island people, their own blood. They fellow man on the island for him, and still to this very day, they will still do it. They'll still kill for him in his name. They'll still do it. Only if you knew the destruction that he brought up on you. Anyway, y'all, I'm about to get up out of here. But look, if you are choosing to stay asleep, that's fine. If you're one of those people that says, "Oh, this is too deep. I don't want to get too much into that," that's fine. But you reap what you sow. The consequences is on you. It's not on I. It's not on anybody else, right? And when the gavel falls, and then you want to run, come, or I need to know this information, or so on and so, or you know, um, like your back is against the wall now. It's not going to be any help. You know how many platforms like mine there is that has a shitload of information, but some people don't want to sit there and watch the videos. It's too long. They want you to just do it for them. All right, I do it for you. Here's a document here. Here. You wouldn't even know what to do with it. You wouldn't know how to defend it when the time comes for you to defend it. You see what I'm saying? Open your eyes, people. Right? Open your eyes. Know who's who. Know what's what. Find a common ground of true unity. Come together to turn back a lot of the injustices that has happened to you. Stop being divided over political parties. But those political parties actually and really and truly has nothing to do with you. Don't take yourself back down to the level where you vote for someone because he gave you a free box of food. Look what's happening to your land. Your beaches are disappearing. Ask yourself why. It's not because of no goddamn global warming. The earth warms up every 20 to 40 years and then it cools back down again. Okay? Because just like you when you're sick and you need to detox, the earth needs to detox. That's why it warms up and then it cools back down again. That does not shrink land. Shrinkage of land comes from when someone is mining the sand, when someone is chipping away at the coral reefs in the water, when all these box sites that are opened up are digging out of the land. Mind you, they're even taking hundreds of millions of tons of sand off of the island. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? It's not no global warming. There's no such thing. All that is fake. It's another way that these mega billionaires and trillionaires figured out that they can launder their money and keep you even more distracted. World domination. Anyway, I'm out of here. I thank everyone for joining. All out two, Sister Cherokee, uh, S. John, Nadine Alexander, Locono, Brandon Reed, who else is in here? Alex Anthon Warmington, R.L. Smith, Sister Lourdes Smith. Thank you all for being here. Peace to you all. Peace to you all. And Marcus X Sarah. And enjoy your day. Enjoy your day. Safe travels to you if you're on the road. And best wishes to you all.